Hello, everybody. My name is Ariel. This is Natalie and Kathleen and Madison, and we're going to be refuting Group 1's case. The case was where the husband, the wife claimed that the husband was fixing a chandelier and then he fell and hit his head, and that's how he died. But upon further examination, the experts found cocklebur plants in his hair and on his clothing. And so they had to figure out where else he was at the time. And they found out that he was actually outside by these cell phone towers. Was it cell phone towers? And he was trying to steal copper wire. And so he got electrocuted from that and fell to his death. And so this case is about how they used botany to figure out that he wasn't actually in his home where the wife claimed that he was, but instead outside. So in terms of the rebuttal, we are wanting to act on the defense of the wife's point of view, that it was an actual accidental death of her husband inside the apartment, and how to refute the botany findings. Take it away.
Okay, so I can go. I can definitely see how the wife could have done it. Especially since they didn't really take all types of evidence. They went based on the plant or the cocklebur that was on his hair. They did say that the ladder seemed staged, that the blood splatter seems staged. However, if they weren't really willing to look at it in total, they weren't willing to see, okay, well, how could he have fallen and the blood splatter gotten this way? They kind of just brushed it off because they said, hey, he has plant on him and there's no plants inside. How is that possible? Where we don't know his occupation, we don't know where he was coming from, we don't know how often he went on walks. We don't know if they had a pet. We don't know all these different theories that could go behind why he had certain plants on him, especially when you're removing your clothes. I know when I take off my shirt, it's going over my head. I mean, if you take off your shirt a different way, by all means, you do it that way. But typically, it goes over your hair, which will then everything gets in your hair. So that's, I don't think they gave the inside their, what did they name it? They named it crime scene number 2, the staged one. They didn't really give it a fair shot, just based on the body that they found, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then going off of what you were saying, they used the botanic plant systematics method, which the exact technique, I guess you could say, that they used was the microscopic evaluation of the plant anatomy. But to be more specific, you could have used the multi-gene barcoding, which this targets specific regions of the plant DNA to identify the plant species, because sometimes even if they are common, they do have variations, and so that would have been able to pinpoint, did he get it outside when he was walking in, or like where on the property did this plant fall on him and get into his hair, rather than being from that specific region,
Yeah,
definitely.
Another thing I would like to mention is that the cockleburs are very highly invasive. They're classified as one of the world's worst weeds, and they currently inhabit 39 countries, meaning they are very common. Just because they were located outside of his apartment doesn't mean that that was where the one in his hair was found from. Another thing is I think it would be hard for his wife to have moved the body herself. On average, an adult male weighs 168 pounds and an adult female weighs 132 pounds. It would take tremendous strength for her to drag his lifeless body all the way inside herself.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real, I don't know if it was mentioned like how far of a distance that is, but that would definitely be,
Yeah.
and there had to have been some kind of markings on her from that, or some kind of evidence of that happening where she, or like drag marks outside or like something that had to have happened. Yeah, I mean, even stuff like the burns, like you could also claim that that like didn't come from electrocution. It could have come from something else. Even though the chandelier fixing is considered a low grade electrocution, and they're saying that that couldn't have happened with the burns that he got. Like, you never know. Like maybe some people,
It could have been wired wrong.
yeah, something could have happened. I think the whole point of this rebuttal is that we're just creating doubt in the jury's mind that this was not an accident. Like maybe the wife's story is actually true. But yeah, I think the biggest rebuttal here is that the cockleburrs like didn't necessarily come from that specific fall. It could have come from anywhere, even grazing it. Like the little hooks on the cocklebur just like are so invasive and they can stick to anything. And I know I've lived in a place that had cockleburs and they're so easy to get on you, even when you think you didn't, they're there. So I think that's the main rebuttal that we can go off of in this case specifically. I think that's it, unless anybody else had anything. I think we covered it.
Yeah, that's it.
But I think overall that the case itself, like besides our rebuttal points, like these are just examples, but I think the case itself is pretty cut and dry. Like it probably did happen. The electrocution burns are pretty severe to have happened like that. So these are just examples of a rebuttal that could take place in a case, but for the most part, I think the case was pretty open and shut.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you.